Yosaf, there was a great sound which resonated at Har Sinai. Below Yosaf, Rashi says, one explanation is below Passaic, it did not cease. And that Kabbalah Satorah and the kol which goes along with it is present at every moment, in every single door, at every single time. And especially now, as we undergo a new Kabbalah Satorah, a reenactment of Kabbalah Satorah at Har Sinai, that kol is present today. We find that Achnasas Sefer Torah everywhere across the world goes along with Shira, has to go along with song. And in fact, this song, which is full of regesh, nislavus, excitement, that song is in the pasuk itself of writing a Sefer Torah. The pasuk says it's called Shira. The Sefer Torah is referred to as Shira. The pasuk continues, Lamantia Shira Hazos Le'ed B'nei Yisrael. Twice the pasuk refers to the Torah as Shira. And some ask a very interesting question. They say that here the pasuk, in regard to the writing of a Sefer Torah, refers to the Torah as the Shira song. And we have a Gemara which tells us that David HaMelech was taken to task because of the fact that he referred to the Torah and thought of the Torah as miros. The Gemara in Sota mentions, why was David punished in one particular incident? Because he referred to the Torah as miros, as it says in the pasuk of Tehillim, Zmiros hayu lichukecha. So, wait a second. The Torah is referred to as a shir. Why is David HaMelech criticized for having referred to the Torah as Zmiros? And one explanation is the following, that there's an enormous difference between Zmiros and Shira. Zmiros are songs that are composed, that are written, that you learn and you practice. That's a Zmira, that's a Zemer. A Shira, on the other hand, they say, is something which comes from within the individual. It bursts forth, it comes from within the person. It's not something you sit and compose. We find, for example, at the beginning of Oz Yashir, the famous Rashi, Oz Yashir, Moshe says, Rashi, Ola Belibo Sheyashir. That Moshe Rabbeinu, it burst forth from within his heart to sing a song, Sheyashir Shira. It wasn't something which he sat down and composed. It was something which came from his neshama, which came from his leg. That's what Shira is all about. Shira is something which comes from within. The Shira of Torah is something which comes from within. It's not something you compose. It's not something you sit down and you write. It's something which comes from within the individual. Because each and every person, as Rabbi Pinkus mentioned before, has an os in the Torah, has a chelek in Torah, has a particular part of the Torah that is part of that individual, a unique chelek in Torah that nobody else can duplicate. And as a result, when you have a sefer Torah, then that sefer Torah strikes a chord within each person, and there's a shira which emerges, a shira which is created, which comes from within. It's not something you sit down and you compose. It's that kind of shira that's necessary when you have achnasas sefer Torah. It's an unbelievable Gemara. Listen to this Gemara, which I'm going to conclude with. An unbelievable Gemara that relates to yesterday's parsha. Yesterday's parsha we read about the various different tasks, the avodas of the Leviim, and the pasuk says, "Livnei Kahas lo nasan ki avodas hakodesh alehem b'kaseit yiso." The family of Kahas, they were responsible for carrying the Aron, and therefore it says in the pasuk that they had b'kaseit yiso. They had to carry the Aron on their shoulders. They couldn't put it chas v'sholom on a wagon. You had to carry it on your shoulders. The Gemara in Erchin has a question. How do you know that the Leviim have to sing in the Beis Hamikdash? Minayin, says the Gemara, Li'ikar Shira min Torah. How do you know that when you're in the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the Beis Hamikdash, then you have to break out into song? Shira, which as we mentioned, comes from within. And you know what the Gemara says? One of the opinions of the Gemara lists a lot of opinions. How do you know Minayin Li'ikar Shira min Torah? And one of them is based upon this pasuk. The Gemara says that some explain Yiso is Lashon Shira. That there's a pasuk in Tehillim, a pasuk Yeshayahu, which indicate that it wasn't Bekasef Yiso when they're carrying the Aron on their shoulders. Yiso, they have to break out into Shira, they have to break out into song. According to this Gemara, what emerges is the most compelling Shira that we have in existence. The Shira which tells us that in the Beis Hamikdash, the Leviim had to sing when they were in the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when they were doing the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. How do we know that there's such a concept, there's such a shira? Because so, because when they carried the Aron, when they carried the Luchos, they carried the Torah, how could you not sing? Because so, they had to sing. There had to be shira. Obviously, Levium had to break out into songs. From here, you know Likar Shira Min HaTorah. Here, you know that there's such a thing as shira in the Torah. From here, you learn that the Levium in the Beis Hamikdash had to break out into song when the avodah was taking place. We're going to carry this new sefer Torah when we're reenacting Kabbalah Torah, reenacting a Ma'amad Har Sinai. We're going to carry this sefer Torah. We have to engage in because so, carrying it, and at the same time feeling not that we're composing songs, but the shira is coming from within. So we say when we take out a sefer Torah, Gadul Hashem iti, v'nurama Moshe lo yachdav.